Alright folks, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or maybe I should say the billionaire creep in the room. Because guess what just dropped? Not a new Netflix documentary, not some FBI press release, but 18,000 leaked Jeffrey Epstein emails. Yes, you heard me. 18,000 emails from Epstein's own Yahoo inbox. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, Epstein was still using Yahoo? Yeah, the guy who was jet-setting with billionaires and royalty was still stuck in 2003 internet. This man had an entire private island, and yet his email game was weaker than your aunt forwarding you minion memes. But don't get distracted by the comedy here. These emails are no joke. They reveal how Epstein ran his predatory empire, how Ghislaine Maxwell helped him every step of the way, and how powerful people, yes, including Trump, keep dodging accountability. So, let's take this one step at a time. Keep some of the direct quotes from the transcript for context, and then, oh, you know I'm going to do it. Absolutely tear apart the hypocrisy, the corruption, and the good old laws are for poor people attitude running through this whole story.
For all the calls to release the Epstein docs, a whole new tranche just came out today, and it's not the ones people were expecting. Bloomberg got 18,000 leaked emails, these have never been public before, from Epstein's personal email account. He was using Yahoo.
First of all, Yahoo. Seriously, I cannot get over this. This man is orchestrating an international sex trafficking operation. And he's one password reset away from getting locked out of his own criminal empire. But here's the bigger deal. 18,000 emails means receipts. It means documentation. It means no more he said, she said when it comes to Epstein's network. For years, powerful people have been saying, we didn't know what Epstein was up to. We weren't that close. I barely knew him. Yeah? Well, let's see what the inbox says. And isn't it funny? When it was Hillary Clinton's emails, Republicans wanted congressional hearings, FBI raids, lock-her-up chants at rallies. But when it's Epstein's emails, silence, crickets. Suddenly, the GOP turns into Marcel Marceau, the silent mime.
Also, continues to reinforce what the DOJ, under Ms. Comey, the now fired prosecutor, showed in her prosecution of Ghislaine Maxwell, that she was a big part of this criminal enterprise, not, as she said in her interview, some sort of hanger-on.
Ghislaine Maxwell is the kind of person who would help set the fire, pour gasoline on it, and then act shocked when the house burned down. For years, she pretended she was just this rich socialite caught up in Epstein's world. Nope. The emails show she was actively helping. When Epstein was negotiating his plea deal, he literally asked her, Question: which one do you prefer? Lewd and lascivious conduct or procuring minors for prostitution? And her response: I suppose lewd and lascivious conduct. I would prefer lewd conduct with a prostitute if possible. Excuse me, that is not the reaction of someone horrified by child exploitation. That's the reaction of a co-conspirator trying to minimize damage. She's treating felony crimes like options on a Cheesecake Factory menu, and this is the same Maxwell who, in interviews, downplayed her role, said her involvement was diminished. Diminished? She was exchanging 200 messages in 6 months with Epstein while he was facing legal jeopardy. If that's diminished, I'd hate to see what fully involved looks like.
A lot of clear new information that shows what Trump was up to with Epstein, although we know from prior information that they had a kind of social relationship. You've seen the photos.
Ah yes, the photos. Trump and Epstein grinning together at Mar-a-Lago, surrounded by young women, looking like two cartoon villains auditioning for a bad Netflix crime drama. Now, defenders will say, well, there's no evidence Trump committed a crime with Epstein. Sure, maybe not in these emails. But ask yourself, would you be hanging out with a guy known for trafficking minors? Would you be at his parties? Would you be joking with him on camera about young girls? Trump did, repeatedly. And when Epstein finally got busted, Trump's tune changed from "Jeffrey's a terrific guy" to "I was never a fan." Convenient. Real convenient. The right loves to scream about guilt by association when it's Hunter Biden's laptop or Hillary Clinton's server. But when it's Trump and Epstein, suddenly association doesn't matter. Suddenly, we need absolute proof, notarized confessions, and a full FBI file. The hypocrisy is exhausting.
Stability is what makes a society civilized. I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them.
We are tired. However, we are not going away.
And this is where the rage really kicks in. Survivors are still out here, years later, demanding accountability. These women had their childhood stolen, their dignity trampled, and they're still having to fight to be believed. Meanwhile, Epstein got a sweetheart plea deal in 2008. A literal wrist slap. He spent less time in jail than a teenager caught with weed in Texas. Why? Because he was rich, connected, and white. That's the trifecta of immunity in America. This isn't just about Epstein. It's about a justice system that works for the powerful and against the vulnerable. It's about prosecutors who look the other way when billionaires are involved, but throw the book at poor people for petty crimes.
We also uncovered an accountant's spreadsheet that tracked nearly $2 million in spending, and which amounted to some gifts, some cash payments, to victims, to very prominent public figures. There was a car for Alan Dershowitz, which he told us was for his wife. There was a watch, $11,000 Rolex watch, for Tom Barrack, who's now—
Ah yes, the hush money spreadsheet. Nothing screams innocence like itemizing your bribes in Excel. Alan Dershowitz, the Harvard law professor and Trump defender, got a car for his wife. How convenient. Same guy who swore he only got a massage and kept his underwear on. Yeah, because that's what innocent people always say. I never took them off. And Tom Barrack, Trump's billionaire buddy, accused of acting as an agent for the UAE. He allegedly got an $11,000 Rolex. But don't worry, he said he never received it. Because, you know, billionaires always refuse free luxury watches. Totally believable. This is the level of corruption we're dealing with. Billionaires trading favors like Pokemon cards while survivors get breadcrumbs.
in emails that that we found in there, such as his Amazon purchases, which honestly I found fascinating, if you will, just in terms of getting a sense of what he was thinking. There's purchases for Nabisco Nilla wafers. There are purchases for an FBI agent's costume, a prostate massager.
Yep, in between trafficking minors, Epstein was buying cookies and sex toys on Amazon. That's the banality of evil in action. Monsters don't always wear masks. Sometimes they're just creepy rich guys with Prime memberships. It's almost scarier this way, because it shows you how normalized evil can become. He wasn't wringing his hands in a dark lair. He was eating Nilla wafers and planning abuse like it was just another Tuesday.
In September 2006, this was after Epstein was charged, and there's 51 politicians and other executives on the list. And it says, please review list and add or remove peeps from Maxwell. Quote, remove Trump, Epstein.
This is the part that's going to break the internet. Out of 51 names, Epstein specifically says, remove Trump. Now, conservatives will twist this. They'll say, see, Epstein didn't want Trump associated with him. Please, let's use our brains for 2 seconds. When you're running a criminal enterprise, remove doesn't mean he's innocent. It means this guy is too politically useful to risk exposing. It means Epstein knew Trump was valuable and dangerous. Think about it. Trump was a rising political figure even back then, a media darling, a celebrity. Epstein didn't want his name in the wrong place. It was about optics, not innocence, and let's not forget, Trump once said Epstein liked them young. His words, not mine. So here's the takeaway. These emails aren't just about Epstein. They're about the rot at the top of our society. A system where billionaires can buy plea deals, where presidents hang out with predators, where survivors fight for decades while elites sip champagne on private jets. And the kicker, the same Republican Party that screams about protecting children from drag queens and library books, they were partying with Epstein. They were defending guys like Dershowitz. They were cozying up to billionaires who literally trafficked minors. That's the hypocrisy. That's the sickness. And until we hold these people accountable, not just Epstein and Maxwell, but the enablers, the protectors, the politicians, nothing changes. So here's my question for you. If billionaires and presidents can dodge justice this easily, is America really a democracy? Or is it just an oligarchy with better PR? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Defend Trump if you want, I'll wait. But just remember, the survivors are still waiting for justice too.